Well, hello there, folks, and welcome back to some War in the East 2. We actually had a previous, or part 1 to this campaign that you could find in the channel history, so we're on turn 5. That's right, turn 5 of this particular campaign. Now, the one thing I want to do is immediately get the situation in the north under control. As many of you know, we have taken Riga, but I don't feel that we have sufficiently put up an offensive line in this area that's going to hold up for a while. So I want to start moving these units as quickly as I can, and just essentially putting them into more opportune locations, even if that means sacrificing a little bit of territorial gain. So let's move this guy up here, for instance. Even this is a bit risky. I just don't think we have enough units in this HQ to support everybody. Nonetheless, we're going to try. We go. Not quite. Let's try this. Now, we might be able to use this tank for a bit of a cheeky offensive, or a cheeky counter-offensive. Kind of going over here and trying to get behind the line. I'm going to try it, although I think this is definitely risky. Let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't go for an attack unless I know for sure what the enemy has there. But again, I'm just kind of trying to mop up, police this northern line. What's up, Michael? Hello, Anthony. Good to see you guys. So let me just police that line a bit. And again, there's just like a very large enemy force near Tallinn. So I think we're kind of overextending with some of these tank armies. In fact, that one is probably lost. Let's try not to lose this one. Let's save them while we can and kind of start to fall back. Also push forward with these other units. And I might even try to get just another army group up here, if we have the manpower. We probably do. It just means we have to divert some of our units. For now, though, keep on pushing east. That's the name of the game. Vroom, vroom, exactly. Love those sounds. They're actually pretty good for a turn-based game like this. Actually, that 3-3 looks like a perfect area to break through. 121st Infantry Division. We've got the 290th Motorized Corps as well. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? Yeah, let's go for a full-on attack. Nope, because of that damn river, we don't have sufficient points to get over there. Now, we've already done some damage here in the previous turns. So we're going to have to kind of just test the waters right now, and especially get across the damn rivers. Yes, you can resupply cutoff units by air. You're absolutely right. In most cases, though, well, at least for this campaign, I am totally automating, and I just use this button. I'm automating the air support and all that stuff. But yeah, absolutely. You don't always have to keep them in supply, although it helps. Let's keep going. I'll go for it. Still killed 592 of the enemy. Obviously, it could have been a somewhat better attack. Although a bit of a challenge when you've got a river in front of you. And we're still coming out on top, but we just need to strengthen that line quite a bit. Now, here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to take, I'm not even going to try to count that. Is it the 27th Corps? 28th Corps, rather? Let's take them, and we're going to move them north to supply that northern area. I just don't think we have enough units up there, so I'd like to go ahead and move these guys up and start filling in those gaps. Otherwise, the Soviets could go for some pretty crazy counterattacks. So let's just get in there and start defending that northern area. Not that we need to be on the defensive right now. We are very much on the offensive. But not necessarily in this northern area. Here we go. Want to also make sure that all of those rail yards are open. And the concern here is our SS units getting cut off at Peshov. So you know what? I'm actually going to fall back a bit. Going to do the same with this unit here. Just fall back a bit with the armor. We'll come back for this attack a little bit later. As long as we have Riga, I'm pretty happy. Unfortunately, I think that that tank unit is in a lot of trouble. I don't see him coming out of this situation. All right, let's take a look at the front where we can actually attack and just look at all this open territory. In fact, I want to take a look and see what the closest enemy cities are. So it's going to be Kiev, followed by Kursk, Kharkov, Dneprovetsk, Zaporozhye, and Odessa is right here. In fact, let's take a look there at Odessa. We are awfully close with these Romanian units. Let's start pushing in. Why not? It's not all Romanian units, but a lot of them are Romanians. Here we go. And let's start wiping out these Bolshevik border forces. Or fortresses, rather. Immediately surrendered. How many prisoners have you captured so far? Good question. Let's take a look. So we have captured about 500,000 so far. We could do much better than that, of course. 500,000 captured. Good questions. I love the statistics in games like this. I really do. I wouldn't go for that charge necessarily. So here on the Romanian front, they're really making us work for it. They have gone across the river, but we're not getting any easy attacks here. As long as we can hold Odessa, I'll be pretty happy. But I'm almost certain that Odessa has a fortress within it. So holding that area is not going to be easy, I don't think. I think even taking it is going to be a bit of a problem. We'll see, though. Maybe I've just grown a bit suspicious here. Unnecessarily suspicious, but I do believe that to be the case. Let's get that general close enough so that he can provide support. And as you can see, Fortress Odessa. Yep. That is definitely going to be a fortress. There's no way we're breaking through there easily. So what I'm going to do is just take the territory around it. I don't want to lose an unnecessary amount of men taking this area. So we'll get like 3 units around it, I guess, and just kind of wait it out. Don't expect this to fall quickly. Although, in the meantime, we can sort of steamroll towards Voronezh and Nikolaev. They're not, you know, super valuable places, but I think it's going to help our war cause or war goals either way. It's generally useful to capture between 1.5 and 2 million prisoners in 41. Oh, good suggestions. We absolutely need to try. And hopefully with these advances, I mean, especially with taking these border forts, we have taken a lot of prisoners. Once they're in the fort there, there's not much they can do. Here we go. And once again, so right there, 458 surrendered prisoners. But of course, getting those larger routes is much better. It's going to be harder to do with our Romanian army, but we can certainly do it with a lot of our German armies. And again, I can go for an attack just to show you guys how devastating it is to attack Odessa, but I'm going to wait now at least a couple of turns. And that way they'll lose supply at the very least, but that is a tough nut to crack. Start getting some guys to resupply the units here. And over here as well. Very nice. Maybe these Romanian armies can help us after all. The new War in the East player. Oh, this is a fun game. I mean, I would always recommend people start with, like, decisive campaigns, but I think of all the Gary Grigsby games, the War in the East franchise is sort of the simplest one, the easiest one to learn. I can't figure out War in the West or War in the Pacific myself. And we still got some Soviet units here trapped behind our lines. This is actually a good opportunity for a capture, but that means taking some of our units from the front and trying to surround the enemy here, which is not necessarily something I want to do. Nonetheless, over here, we will go for it. And I believe we could take a bunch of prisoners. Over 16,000 prisoners taken there. Let's see if we can't do the same to the remaining enemy units here. Trying to get in that gap right there. As you can see with these opportunities, just like Anthony mentioned, it's very important early war to take Soviet prisoners. The reason being that, you know, if we just go for kills, we're never going to beat them. And at least if we take prisoners, we can make sure that they don't return to the fight later on. So I am doing everything I can. I don't think we can use an HQ unit here. I might have to take, once again, another one of these infantry units on the front line, but I think it's for a good cause. And that is to try and force a surrender here. Come on, Hungarians. They can't quite get there, although their mechanized corps can, and that should be a pretty easy attack. We'll simply send in the 97th Light Division to accomplish the task. Oh, it absolutely is, Anthony. And I already have trouble with the air focus of these games. Might not be able to get in there this turn, but that doesn't mean we should give up right away. Oh, look at that. That's pretty nice. Just make sure that our units always get those resources. The last thing we need is for our people, our units to be starving. It's simply not going to help us at all. And look, here we go. Another opportunity for a potential encirclement. It's really tempting to go behind the enemy lines and like cut off additional rail stations. But when we can encircle this many units and take this many prisoners, we have to take that chance. So here we go. Oh, baby. Look at all of the enemies there. Full on charge, and look at that. 26,000 prisoners is what that's going to amount to. We'll try to do the same right here. And actually, as you can see, the population of Lanovci has escaped to try and avoid our forces. Gee, I wonder why. I'd like to get one more unit in there. We might have to use a tank. Well, that's what tanks are for. And let's send in the infantry for the attack. So the 57th did a tremendous job, still losing about 58 troops. But they pushed through and took prisoners. We're going to keep on pushing. Now, this time, we are going to have a little bit of fun with the tanks. So I'm going to try to cut off all of these forts over here. We're going to go to Zhemerinka with this bit of armor, the 11th Panzer Division. How you doing, Jake? Good to see you, buddy. Been on my wish list forever, but I'm always scared of the learning curve. I would recommend getting it, especially if you're deciding between this and just War in the East. You might as well just get this. It's really worth it. Now, guys, do you think we should attack that fort? We'll come back to that later, but I'll let you guys decide. Attacking a fort with an armor division, it is possible, and it's pretty weak, but is it even worth it? All right, I'm going to try to encircle additional units here. When you see the units retreating like that, yeah, as you can see, they're going to break on contact. But I still would like to capture these guys right here. Look at that. We've gotten so many captures so far, but this is exactly what the early game is about, is trying to capture as many enemy units as possible. Oh, it's a tough one. It's all down to the Das Reich and the Viking SS divisions. If they can capture this area, or if they can encircle this area, then we are about to get a ton of victories here. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Don't attack purely on principle. Yep, seems crazy. Here we go. And as you can see, that division retreated. 1,875 casualties, guys. He's retreated into the pocket there with his buddies. But just imagine the amount of surrendered units here. tremendous. We're going to just keep it going. I will, of course, make sure that all of these HQs are in range. As you can see with this one, we've got to cross the river there east of Kostopol so that we can get some reinforcements. This looks like another potential encirclement. All right, we're still going to have some fun with this tank. So again, I will send some of our tank divisions behind the lines. And again, it's really tempting to do that, but honestly, you're just buying yourself a little bit of time with this. The best thing to do is use these tanks to cut off these units right here so that we can, of course, capture them. Although with this guy, I want to keep heading south. Look at that. Vinica is ours. Nice, easy capture of Vinica. That's going to hurt enemy supply, but we want to, of course, get the hell out of here. Look at those forts. Let's back up a bit. So yeah, with this unit, I will not attack that fort. I think that Anthony is absolutely right. Oh yeah, we're here to play the long game, Nikki. Absolutely. This is part 2 of a series we started quite a while back, I think. But it would take us, I think, 80, 90 episodes to finish it. Maybe not. It's like 200-something turns, so, you know, we could finish it, but it's going to take us a very long time. Yeah, I think it's best to just strengthen our existing line. Let's not trap that tank behind enemy lines, but we will take this armored unit and attempt to capture this infantry unit right here. Might as well. We'll take this tank unit and completely cut off the enemy tank unit right here as well. But really, I'm just going for the encirclement. That's actually a large tank army. Let's encircle this bastard. Oh, let me get behind. There we go. You know what? I'm going to go for the attack just to get him out of the way. Because I'd rather take that tank prisoner. And we actually just shattered the enemy's group. So, for all intents and purposes, we killed or wounded every single one of their units. That still worked out in our favor. Now, let's see if we can get a great capture on those tanks. Because the last thing we need the Soviets to have is tank support and especially trained tank veteran. We don't want that. Hey, Dave, how you doing, buddy? And look at that. I love seeing those Centurion helmets. They look freaking amazing in the chat, guys. So to get those Centurion helmets, you just have to join the channel. I really want to thank you guys for doing that. It's absolutely awesome. Looks good, too. Here we go. Kamenets. The attack on Kamenets. The tank division here. And it looks like a lot of these guys have evacuated to Molotov. Now, they actually managed to rout. So despite being encircled, they broke through our encirclement just barely. Pretty unbelievable. But I guess that's the benefits of having armor. You can drive quickly. All right, I'm going for this area. Although we don't really have to encircle a fort. We can just essentially attack. We're not going to attack with our mechanized units, though. That's a great question, Jake. I wish I knew enough about the game to give you a proper answer. I don't think it does. What's strange for logistics in this game is, like, for instance, take a look at these Soviet units. You see how we've completely cut off their rear supply and all this stuff? Over, like, several turns. Like, if we were to end the turn now, they would eventually whittle away to nothing because they have no supply coming in. Another thing that does strain your resources is the proximity of your air bases to the front, as well as the proximity of the rail yards to the front. So, like, one of our air bases is all the way back here, which, if you can imagine, it's pretty far. We'd like to get it closer, but I've completely automated that, so the AI will figure that out. I think also the red circle means that the airbase is not yet constructed, so we're in the process of building this, which, of course, can hurt logistics. All right, here we go. We will simply advance. We're not going to even pay attention to the retreating unit because we can end up encircling him. So let's just simply advance. Wow, he did not retreat. That's bad news for him, hopefully. See, I'm trying to go for yet another encirclement. So it might take a little bit longer, but that's the name of the game, is encirclements. The more prisoners we take, the better off we are. So see, with an attack, I could easily defeat these guys, but it's better to sort of give them a false sense of security. Belokorovici Depot is captured. I have not. I want to see it so bad, Dave. If we can perhaps watch them after this stream, I'll absolutely watch an episode with you. I want to see it so bad. I know they go to Ireland, right? Wow. Unbelievable. Let's keep on pushing. 100,000 men. Let's take a look and see how many men we've lost thus far. So we've only lost about 16,000 thus far. Total 75,000 thus far. Pretty rough. But this is turn 5. So we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot. In fact, if I take a look here at like what we first took, we took Lvov. We also took Ploesti. No, sorry, not Ploesti or Bucharest. That's the Romanian front. So I think it's Lvov mainly. We've taken another, a few smaller cities over here. But we're just now approaching Kiev. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. All right, let's go for some more encirclements here. Go for that fort. Get rid of it. In fact, this fort is harboring some units, but I think it's just an artillery battalion, so full-on attack. The 24th Infantry Division takes additional prisoners. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are huge fans of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's just a great show, man. Really funny stuff. Again, we are going to trade space for captures, basically. Just to fall back and capture these Soviet units here. In fact, I might need to kind of do a little deliberate attack to kind of force them back a bit. And wow, we actually got the 28th Mountain Division to surrender. Over 8,000 Soviets quickly surrendering there, even without being completely encircled. You know what? We might try the same against this tank unit. But believe it or not, they held and actually destroyed 7 of our own tanks. So yeah, don't want to go for crazy attacks like that. Oh, you know what, though? Gotta get this unit closer to the front. And these are actually Romanian cavalry units. Want to see how far we are from Kiev? There she is. So obviously getting rid of all the forts in the way is going to be helpful. We'll just kind of, I'm just basically scouting ahead and trying to see what the enemy has. I'm not trying to actually get behind the enemy lines at this point because it's going to take quite, well, not quite a while, but at least another turn for this army to make it over. Even these guys, some of them are out of supply, so we want to fix that. Y'all go ahead and take this attack. Might as well. We do need to be a little bit aggressive, of course. And taking an airfield like that, as well as a supply depot, is absolutely worth it. I do believe, just referring back to Jake's question earlier, I do believe that forcing the enemy to evacuate their population, that absolutely hurts their logistics. Because, of course, those trains could be used to ferry men, for instance. So when you're using it to ferry population, that's going to hurt logistics for sure. Now, again, they're completely trapped here. Otherwise, I would not go for this attack, but we're going for a deliberate attack with our 18th Panzer Division. 107 tanks. Full charge. Not necessarily worth it. We only lost 4 tanks and 229 men, but, yeah, we should have waited. Absolutely. We'll go for an open tank battle here just because it's a single enemy tank unit, and we actually destroyed 44 of the enemy tanks. Let's keep pushing. Yablonets Depot is ours. Nico Robbins, how you doing, buddy? Ave to you, my friend. Ave. Good to see you, man. Yeah, with this army, we're essentially the 13th Corps. We're essentially just moving forward. Well, it seems to me that War in the East 2 looks very similar to War in the East 1. Yeah, you got a point there. Don't say too much about it. But I think just about everybody kind of noticed that. It's true. It's true. All right. The only downside to being here on YouTube instead of Twitch is if we were on Twitch, we could be playing some World War II German marching songs with no issue whatsoever. Nonetheless, the sounds of battle in War in the East 2 here are pretty awesome. I will say that. I'm good. This game looks like an Excel sheet. Unfortunately, well, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it. Oh, we also took the city of Minsk. It seems like my viewers, you guys, you fine folks, seem to enjoy these games with a lot of numbers. And, you know, while I'm not going to say that you guys dislike real-time strategy, I absolutely get more views on videos like this and Hey, a Safari, for instance, than I do on my real-time strategy stuff. So, yeah, I guess I appreciate that. I do. If you guys like it, I like it too. Let's put it that way. All right, here we could actually go for some attacks. Now, I have been trying to encircle for the most part, and here it's been going beautifully. But we have to be a little aggressive. And this is a good time to do it over here as well. Although, look at that. Some of the Soviet positions here are damn strong. They are learning. All right. Like right here, we could bust through. Although we are attacking across a river tile, so nope. This is the area I'm kind of concerned about here in the north. I don't want them to do any counterattacks that could affect us. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these attacks we already did in the previous turn. Now we're going to get some nice attacks. Sehr gut. Can't always go for encirclements. Although when you can, you should. And right here, for instance, with this mechanized unit, yeah, I'm not going to cross the river. If we had a few more movement points to get like over here where Gomel is, which, by the way, despite not being highlighted, is a very important city, then I would go ahead and take it, for sure. Makes sense. Numbers are cool. The only numbers I'm interested in are, number one, the income numbers at the end of the month for this channel, which, due to how low they've been, I'm looking into a merchant mariner career, which is not a bad thing. And also casualties. I like to see the casualties list. While we're at it, let's take a look here. So these are the total losses for the campaign. You want to look at the right side here. So far, the Soviets are nearly up to 1 million losses, with 532,000 of those being captured Soviet units. Another thing I love about this freaking game is just the ability to see the vehicles you've lost, the weapons you've lost. You can see that all here on this screen. I mean, just every last bit of information, really. Pretty damn cool, man. I guess I also kind of play war games more than RTS, Anthony. But I like to think, like, how can I put this? Like, when I initially started the channel, what I really thought were going to actually bring in the views were going to be those, like, extremely action-packed real-time strategy videos. And because, you know, there are YouTubers like Raptor, and they make their living off that, basically. So I hate to say it, but, like, I still don't really know what people truly like about my videos. Otherwise, I would try to maximize that. Right now, we're in a weird limbo between RTS and turn-based strategy, which is fine. Again, I don't mind. I love casualty lists in games, says Jake Parker. It's weird that you can't see the ratios for those in a lot of simpler games. I agree so much. I love casualties. Would I consider looking into the point of attack too? I haven't heard about it yet, but I would take a look. Not sure how Soviet-era issues are represented, but we could take a look at casualties. Let's take a look. So, Axis losses, we've had 1,143 pilots killed in action. I think it's quite high. Total losses, 1,218. However, the enemy has had 4,630. And most of these Soviet losses are ground losses. Basically, when the Blitzkrieg began, a bunch of our bombers just flew over Soviet airfields and just bombed them to oblivion. So that's really the large percentage of losses here. Here we go. Still going for attacks along the front line. And there we go. Managed to rout a Soviet airborne division under Potapov. So we want to try to create gaps where we can. And especially here near Smolensk. And look at these, like, units near Smolensk. They've got some very strong armies. So let's just try and hit the areas we know we can break through. Even if it means crossing a river like right here. I'd still like to take that risk. Unfortunately, we don't have enough movement points there to take the risk. But I think you get the idea. We've still got some armor here unused. But again, I'm concerned about the enemy over here from Tallinn and from Beshov overrunning us. So I'll actually just push this armored unit right to the front. And I will attack because I don't want them reorganizing here. So unfortunately, that attack did not go as planned. But I actually want to push them back a bit here and sort of like... Oh, damn, I wish we had a marker. Like, basically draw a defensive line like this. You guys see that mouse movement? I'm not even going to push north to Tallinn. I just want to defend Riga. So that's why I'm being a little bit aggressive. I might attack again. Yep, nice. I'll do it just to force them to restructure that line. Anthony says that's a good ratio. It should be better, but again, I'm leaving a lot of the air support up to the AI. Obviously, if you do it on your own, it's going to be slightly better, depending on how good you are. If you're as bad as I am, maybe not. By the way, some news here. The Axis have captured Salmi. As you're playing this game, you'll get some news events, which you can, of course, go through. We've also got an Axis Finnish offensive beginning. But the most important thing right now is knowing that Finnish forces have captured Salmi. So the Finns are causing a little bit of a headache for the Soviets. Let's just keep this guy there. Oh, yeah. There's plenty of room for Heinrich's men to move through. The issue is if you look at the terrain here, and I think most of you can tell, these are the Dnieper swamps, and getting through this area takes forever. It's just, you know, we're completely bogged down in mud. I'm going to take a bit of a risk and attack an unforeseen unit. We did force them to retreat with 1,670 losses, so I think that's a victory no matter how you look at it. You know, see, we could take this tank and try to get behind the line, but with that swamp, we're not going to get very far. We're just not going to get very far. Ooh. Let's get him much closer to the front lines there. Kunzwalter trying to hang back and not be part of the fight. I see how it goes. We'll remember that and let the Führer know about your cowardice. Still have plenty of attacks to go for, guys. And this is why a 217-turn campaign could really take us months to accomplish. I believe so, depending on how we play. I'm almost tempted to cross the river just to kind of potentially cut off the enemy here. But I know better. I definitely know better. It's just going to take longer. Now, over here, I will attack across the river with armored units because we've got to break through, and that was worth it, despite the potential losses. We actually managed to get through very... we were extremely lucky in that attack, let's put it that way. But this is not a gap that matters because of the river tile. There's no way we could break out with a blitzkrieg. Usually what I like to do, I call it the slug blitzkrieg, which is basically I just one line this way, one line this way. I just want 2 tiles open, or 3 tiles rather. And once I get those 3 tiles, I can move 2 tank divisions through pretty easily, send 1 north and 1 south. I call it the slug blitzkrieg. It works damn well. And when I say slug, it's not like the slow-moving slug. I'm thinking like a shotgun slug. It's just one easy way to really damage the enemy army and force them to fall back. In fact, we've gotten here basically doing that the entire time. So here we go. We could move the HQ a little bit closer. Why not? Oh, thank you, Sneeko. Yeah, man. Sometimes I think that YouTube is shadow banning my channel. I mean, I have no idea. But if you have any friends that you think would appreciate this sort of gameplay, then let them know as well, please, man. I would love to grow. Although, guys, I want to give a special thanks to everybody. We got to 17,000 this month, which is pretty awesome. 17,000 is nothing to turn your nose up at. Not $17,000, unfortunately. We're just barely breaking 200 now a month, which is more than we were breaking before. But at least from you guys, 17,000 subscribers, which is awesome. Yep, the Slug Blitz. That's right, man. It's the Slug Blitz. Just a 2-tier blitz, basically. And look at that. See, I could have ended the turn, but we still have plenty of units to move. We're going to move all of these guys forward. And with the tank, again, taking a risk here, but this allows us to cut off a lot of retreating units and potentially trap them. Unfortunately, the enemy was wise to the plan. I'll try to get the infantry there to do this attack, because these are forts. I'd like to keep that SS unit in his good graces. That works. And again, I would not recommend using a mechanized unit to attack a fort like that, but I think in this situation, it might work out just fine. We're also going to use our SS unit to attack this rifle division. That didn't work out so well. In fact, 199 men of the Viking SS destroyed there. Let's see. That works. We shall increase the sub count for the Reich. Yes, please. For the Reich, help us increase the sub counts. If Führer would be proud. Oh shit, this is YouTube, not Twitch. God damn it. We gotta be careful. So Führer would smile. See, we've been playing as SS Victoria right now, and no, we are not fans of the SS, for goodness sakes, but simply for the historical value, and it would add to the battle. If we were streaming this on Twitch, we could play that without issue, because it's a historical song. But I fear here on YouTube, the political connotations associated with it, you know, will give us problems. So there's a lot of like restrictions we have to take on YouTube that we could get away with on Twitch, basically. Not all, though. Like, you know, there's certain things on Twitch that are a bit more off limits than YouTube. Just keeping everybody in range, pretty much. So as far as the forts, the cool thing about the forts, Jake, unless you're talking about like a massive fort like Odessa, you just attack it, man. It's like they're so weak. Like the best way to think of these forts, they're border guard units, right? They're NKVD border guard units, but not the cool NKVD, not like the secret agent NKVD, like the NKVD units from Turkmenistan, whose only job is to guard a border. They're going to give up pretty easily, basically. They rarely, if ever, put up a fight. The biggest issue with the forts is it can kind of like mess with your plans to go for like an encirclement, because of course they take up like several tiles. Or they have zone control over several tiles, I should say. So it's best just to kind of get rid of them. See, over here, I kind of want to attack, but that means attacking across a river. Yeah, nah, we'll wait. I mean, there's certainly a lot of micromanaging, and we're not even micromanaging the air part of this particular campaign. Well, don't think I haven't thought about a good old-fashioned hot tub stream to bring in some revenue, Nick. We've thought about the historical hot tub stream before. It'd be a pretty awful affair, but you know, whatever brings in the dollars, that's what matters. I mean, I don't want to give anybody nightmares, but if I have to, you know, I'll do what has to be done. There we go. See, again, here we could take some risks with certain attacks, like even against that unit. But since he's stacked up, I'm not going to mess with it. If I wasn't streaming, I would attack. I would attack. I like risks. Risks are fun. So Peshov, I mean, I'm definitely worried about this northern front can always be an issue. We've got Army Group North. In fact, let me back out, sort of attacking Smolensk. And we don't exactly have much of a focus on Peshov. So what I'm going to try to do is just form like a second defensive line there and hopefully hold the enemy back. Maybe force the Soviets to send like unnecessary units into that area. But it's one way that the Soviets could absolutely turn the tide of war. Just a weak attack here. Oh my goodness! Welcome to Legionary Nikki. We got ourselves another channel member. Oh, that is so cool. Welcome aboard, Legionary. That looks epic. So here's the thing, right? You've got the original Agrippa Maxentius avatar now. But if you stick around, I think once you get to the 3-month mark, you get the Centurion image that Anthony Jones has, and basically that's like the upgraded and the original Agrippa Centurion image. Let's put it that way. But over time, I'll let you guys decide your own images. I really, I'm up for whatever you guys are up for, essentially. Thank you so much, Nikki. Having that little stamp of approval always puts a smile on my face. Now, as for the security divisions, I used to like to mess with these a lot before, but from what I understand now, they kind of do their own thing. What I am going to do is take this HQ, the 34th Corps, and I'm going to send them completely north. That is so cool. I also like how, like, it only is giving your most recent comments the image. Like, your previous comments don't get it. That's cool. It's a mark of respect, you know what I mean? You gotta love that. Oh, we still have some more units to move. Don't mind if I do. Of course, I want to keep these HQs within their respective boundaries. And again, right here, I'm going to risk an attack. Not bad. Nice retreat. Oh, I really appreciate that. It's good to see you guys having a great evening. And again, it always shows me kind of what you guys prefer to see. And it seems to me absolutely, I guess the more historical turn-based strategy is huge. I mean, I can even play like a short campaign on Ardennes offensive, and I know I'm going to get a ton of views. So I really, really want to thank you for that, guys. Of course, if we could get the same thing going on all the real-time strategy stuff, I'm just saying, you know, it could be a little bit better. Here we go. Let's get this guy to Beragino. Ooh, he could be in a much better situation. There we go. Now, this mechanized attack here would be a serious risk. I mean, they've got a real force here. I don't think it's worth it. I'll probably go ahead and end that turn. All right, folks, there we go. Now, before I end the turn, I am going to click this button, which allows the AI to manage depots. Get people their schnapps, their cured ham. I don't know what German rations are like, their sauerkraut and such. Those things are important, so we want to let that occur, and I don't want to have anything to do with it because I'm not a mess hall guy myself. And now let's go ahead and end that turn. First things first, I just want to make sure we are on the front line wherever we can be. I'm sure they're going to push down from Tallinn over here. So we're going to have to restructure that line somehow. But for now, this is sufficient. Okay. Good night, Sneeko. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping by. I pardon you. You can go. I pardon you. Thank you so much for stopping by. If anybody understands that reference, I really should be shot. Yeah, it's great. It's fucking hot in here. It's actually quite cold, to be honest with you. This is our boys delivering freight. And I mentioned it before. I think this is the case with every single freight delivery on any side of the war. Talk about the balls it takes to be one of these cargo planes. No weapons, just flying over enemy territory and dropping supplies. I mean, dying over a pack of cigarettes must really suck. Just something to consider. These guys are doing God's work. Let's see, boys. Soviet times. This Bolsheviks have so many different tricks up their sleeves. Nikki, I swear to you, if we were streaming this on Twitch, we absolutely would. We'd be all the way down the road with SS Victoria, with Panzerjäger lead, etc. We do all that, but unfortunately here on YouTube, we got to be on our best behavior. Although, check out the Twitch, we can stop by there, and in future streams, we can maybe put some on Twitch and play some songs. Or just play some songs. That's also fun. Come on, Soviets. You've done enough damage. Hurry up. Look how close we are to Gomel. I'm ignoring the rest of the cities. Not to say they're not important, but Gomel should really have its own sort of significance. It's not highlighted like a lot of the other Soviet cities. And I think it's just a town, but Gomel has a lot of importance. It's the den of iniquity itself. It's where all the scheisse happens, right in that city. And there we are, beautiful Mogilev. We are getting close, man. Now, this is actually, I'm embarrassed to admit, the Drut is not a river I'm familiar with. The Dnieper, of course, but the Drut, I guess this is a smaller river. Absolutely, Jake. Absolutely. That's part of the reason. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to admit, but because of certain health issues, I have not been able to join the regular army like my dad did. You know, my dad, for many of you know, my dad was a lieutenant in Vietnam. And that's kind of the reason I've taken such an interest in the Merchant Marines is while I can't be a support, I can't be a support to my own country in combat. Maybe I could at least be a support to my country in like delivering necessary goods. And if war occurs, then I would deliver goods to the armed forces. So, it's my little way of like still contributing, I guess, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Lots of recon going on over here behind Ivan's lines. I do agree with you, though, and I was discussing earlier another, not necessarily a civilian faction of any armed services, but one faction of the armed services that is never touched upon in films or anything like that, are like the military police, We never hear about them. In fact, in this game and in Ardennes Offensive, they're really well represented, but we just don't really know much about them. All right, so they are going, as I expected, guys. They're going for those northern attacks. They will take this tank army. This will be our miniature version of Stalingrad right here. Oh, nice, Nikki. That is awesome. I just want to be an ordinary seaman. It'd be great if I could be an able seaman. But I'm basically climbing the hawse pipe. I'm sure Nikki will know what that means, but for the rest of you that don't, I'm basically going to just start from the bottom and try to work my way to the top. First Gulf War, nice. Thank you for your service. Welcome home. It's funny you mentioned that because I was, if I didn't stream this tonight, I was going to stream the Iran-Iraq War on the Operational Art of War 4. And now that I've seen such a fantastic response from you guys with this game, that will be something I will stream in the future. You damn Bolsheviks and your northern attacks. Pardon me, sir. Look at Keller getting freight. It's just insanity. No, I think this is actually Soviet freight. By the way, is it just me or does Ionov look like Hardy from Laurel and Hardy? He looks so much like him. It's ridiculous. Oh, cool. So he is a military policeman. Interesting. Interesting. Wow. AI logistics is only at 56%. The interesting thing is that typically these turns don't take so long. I like to think that means that we made all the right choices here because the AI is taking a little longer than usual to actually come up with plans here. It could also mean that they are coming up with a dramatic counterattack, so we'll have to wait and see. But from what I can tell here, because we reinforced that northern line, they're sort of restructuring, and it's probably just going to be them falling back to another defensive line. That seems to be what the Soviets like to do. They fall back to subsequent defensive lines time after time after time until you're out of fuel, ammunition, supply, etc. And then they go for the counterattack. Of course, if you see that little red sort of marker in the center of the field, that's cutting off a lot of supply to our existing armies. But if it only happens for one turn, we should be okay. No, they're not, Skleen. You're absolutely right. Civilian contractors are not military. Merchant Mariners, for instance, are not military members. They do, however, support the military in numerous aspects. And for instance, as far as the Merchant Marine goes, they are under jurisdiction of the Coast Guard. So without USCG licensing, you cannot become a Merchant Marine. In other words, you need that Coast Guard license to be able to even get in. And here we go. This is going to be the Air War. Now, again, I've set this to AI focus, so the AI will take over the Air War. However, if you guys are so inclined and if you like the micromanagement, you can absolutely do this part of the game yourself. We are not, however, but I am going to put our focus on ground support. Yep, ground support, air directive. And this way, this is just like a much easier way as opposed to like micromanaging everything. They're just simply going to support our ground units on their advance, which I think is especially important since we're getting closer to Smolensk and getting closer to Kiev. So let's do that. Luftflotte, danke. Let's go, boys. Pretty nice air attacks going on right now. A tremendous amount of air execution and scouting missions. Department of Transportation. Yeah, that's right. And actually, to become a Mariner, we need a TWIC card, which comes directly from the Department of Transportation. The other card you need, which is the Merchant Mariner card, comes from the Coast Guard. The USCG. Ooh, look at that tank behind Soviet lines. It's so pretty. Tank division, I should say. And there we go. There's the air execution summary. We're not too concerned about that. We're concerned with taking these damn fortifications immediately. This is just an easy attack on a fort. Easy surrender as well. We'll take a look here at casualties in a second. It's not a bad gig. I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, I think a lot of you guys have always known about sort of my anxiety and things like this, and I'm really concerned that I'm not going to be able to do it because, look, I'm not the kind of guy, and Dave knows this. I'm not the kind of guy that likes to like talk about my oh, I've got all these problems and oh my goodness. I'm not trying to be dark side Phil here, for fuck's sake. But you know, my mom is in a bad way. She's sort of like the stages of dementia are progressing. I'm in Portugal, probably a place I shouldn't have come to. No disrespect to Portugal. I love it. But the opportunities here are lacking. And so what I need to do to make this happen is I need to get back to the States. I need to basically kind of hang out somewhere for a few months while I wait for my TWIC and my Merchant Mariner card. And then I'm totally fine with hossepiping it. I'm totally fine with like just working as an ordinary seaman from the bottom up. But those few months, that's kind of what I'm working towards right now. And believe it or not, that's, I think, the hardest part of this entire journey. Yeah, I'm not concerned about PT tests or anything like that. Like, I know that if I want to get into shape, I can get into shape. I've done it before. It's not an issue. I'm more concerned with just the cost and the steps I need to take to make this happen. You know, I'm almost 33 years old. I'd like to be an able seaman by the time I'm 35. And by able seaman, I mean, like, better than an ordinary seaman. That would be ideal. Now, I don't want to attack with that mechanized group, but I do want to strike that 5-5 infantry. If we can get behind these guys, oh my god, the surrender we could get would be dramatic. I'm going to try. I don't think it's going to work, but first of all, nope, it's 2H. Wait a minute. I don't think it'll work, but I'm going to try to break through this airborne unit. Oh, good work. 102nd Infantry Division there doing a nice job. Now, again, a river attack with tanks. I wouldn't recommend anybody do this, but we desperately want to take that area. And we also have the air support here. Although, evidently, there we had no air support. Thank you, man. Yeah, listen, I hope everything works out. Like, the thing is, I've done, I'm not one of these people that like hasn't worked, and I've worked in the past. It's just most of my jobs have been marketing, public relations, voice acting jobs, and it's just, I guess you could call it a midlife crisis. I just sort of got to a realization that, like, number one, I don't even like to do PR, and I just like to do a job that I have more like more respect for myself. I mean, how else can I put it? It's like, if I'm a merchant mariner, then I'm actually doing something that directly contributes to society as a whole. And I'm getting a nice paycheck to boot. So, it just, I don't know. It seems like sort of a no-brainer. Oh, I absolutely would, Dave. If this happens, let's not even say if, let's say when this happens, I will absolutely still continue making videos on the Agripmax Settings channel no matter what happens, and I would upload all of my Merchant Mariner voyages and adventures, of course. That's absolutely part of the plan. Sorry, guys, I want to break away from that information quickly. And if you guys like when I share this personal shit, then let me know. Because, I don't want to, like, break immersion and be, like, talking about myself and you guys don't want to listen to it. God forbid. But anyway, let me just break away from that for a second to say, we still have this tank division. He's going to be cut off. He's in big trouble. But what I could do with this tank division, the 1st Panzer, is I could take these supply depot locations here and sort of, like, mess things up for the Soviets for a few turns. Or I could attack and fall back. And I actually think that's a better idea. Direct attack, and damn, he held. I should have just fallen back, period. But what I'm going to try to do is, again, from Parnu over to Lake Beshov, I'm going to try to form a defensive line. I need to find out how the hell I'm going to do that. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to call for a 10-minute intermission here. I hope you guys will stick around. It is currently 12:41 where I am. So I'm just going to put down intermission 12:41 to 12, let's say 55, let's say 54, just in case. I might be slightly late, guys, but I'm going to just run outside quickly. And I'll be back. I want to keep streaming. Otherwise, I would just end the stream right now. So if you guys want to show back up in 10 minutes, it'd be great. And thank you guys for showing interest in my journey. I'm going to try to make this a 2-hour stream. We're only down to an hour, maybe 3-hour stream. Well, let's see how it goes. Nonetheless, I really do appreciate your interest because it's hard to talk about this stuff, and it's not exactly the most common like job. I never heard about it. I heard about it by accident, basically. And just knowing about it and knowing my interest in sort of, I hate using this term because I sound like such a fucking soy boy, but like a romantic lifestyle. And by that, I just mean like sort of like a Hemingway novel, like a lifestyle I could look back on and be like, dude, I was a fucking mariner. I was on the sea. Like, that's something to be proud of. You know what I mean? Anyway. Oh, thank you, Nikki. Spiraling, keep that thought in mind. I'm going to need an offensive general to give me their advice. But anyway, I will be back, guys, in about 10 minutes. I'm sorry if it's slightly longer, but I will return. Make sure I have my keys. Yep. So, be patient. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging around. No, it wasn't even a smoke break. I bought some beers today. I've been sober for 9 months, but the last week I have drank twice. So, yeah, it is what it is. What changed? How you doing, Intruder? It is War in the East 2, indeed. Nope, not War in the East 1, but I know it looks like it. We all do. We all know that. Good to see you, Robert. Good to see you, man. Let's see when the actual break. 12:49. Okay, let me just... Sorry, guys, I'm putting this in the chat so that I can put it in the text of the video after. 12:49 break. All right. So did you? Well, I've been doing pretty good. And, like, look, I mean, I was at the point where I was, like, binge drinking 12 to 18 beers. Like, today I've had 4 beers. So I've had 2 and I bought 2 more. Now, I'm not trying to find excuses for myself. Well, clearly I am. But number one, you guys seem to prefer it when I am drinking, and that's your fault, not mine. And number two, look, I mean, I think as long as I don't get back into a habit, it's not an issue. Just enjoy the stream, boys and girls, for goodness sakes. Let's keep this advance going. Baku oil fields is a must. Well, here's what I'm worried about. Let me show you the situation that I am most concerned about. Intruder. When we look here at the north, we simply don't have enough units to cut off the units coming from Tallinn. We could have kept pushing to Peshov, and we still can, but even if we break through Peshov, we still have to worry about these units at Tallinn attacking us down in the south. Now, I thought Riga was the only thing to worry about, but clearly it isn't. And that leads me to believe, I don't know, like, this is kind of a weird front. I think I'm just gonna, like, reinforce the rail lines on the front and basically hold them off that way, but we also can't allow them to get an attack here through Beshov, although attacking the city doesn't seem like a good idea, and it even looks pretty well reinforced. Here's what I will do, though. Any location where I can get a decent attack like that, absolutely. And... no, I'm not going to do any blitz attacks with tanks here. I'm almost tempted to put it right there, next to Beshov, as a defensive maneuver. What do you think? I've had 12. Okay, that's a bit much. Although that's my old usual, to be honest. All right, let's see. The real goal right now is Kiev. And as you can see, for most of these situations in Kiev, they haven't actually put up a defense. They just know it's going to take us forever to actually make it to the city walls. So they've got that secondary line right there. Fair enough. I'm just going to go ahead and take those supply depots and airfields now. Move this unit back. And let's go ahead and try to take some more prisoners. See, this is a Soviet line we could overwhelm here if we play our cards right. Let's get the SS Motorized Brigade. Okay, hey. Oh yeah, that's going to go well. So as you can see here, guys, we are completely encircling them. I attacked there at the center to get a surrender, and sure enough, 9,000 Soviets surrendered. Wonderful, taking a bunch of artillery guns as well to use later against the enemy. Actually, we're probably not going to end up using those Soviet guns. Nonetheless, good work, good work. So actually, I'll help out our Romanian friends. We're going to head straight through Shargorod to... There's no way I'm going to try to pronounce that. Again, the only reason I'm doing this is to make it a little easier on our other armies. I don't like going out on these crazy blitzes, because the best thing is to use these guys for captures, not for cutting off the enemy rail for a couple of turns. They're not going to suffer from that. I mean, they might suffer over in this area, but over back here, they couldn't care less. They've accepted that those locations are going to be taken. Oknitska population evacuates. Got a lot of ground to cover, as you can see, before we even get into combat with some of these army groups. I'm just going to Brishani to open up the railway here. We don't want any units cut off. But it also takes time to change this rail to German rail. Can you threaten the Finns to cut the railway to Arkangel? I don't know if you can. I don't think this has the same moral decisions that, like, Decisive Campaigns does, unfortunately. He just got back from buying beer, too. Is everybody drinking? My God. Well done, well done. It's only natural. You're watching an Agrippa Maxentius stream. It's only natural to want to get ridiculously hammered. Again, I said I didn't want to overdo it with the tank attacks. And actually here we don't really have to worry, because this is just, these are just forts. Yeah, let's just... See, they've got a secondary line here. We can't get behind that. So we maybe just need to advance. Like, that's it. Just advance right now. We'll make sure that the HQs are in range of their units. And we shall just keep on pushing forward. Man, no wonder the Germans talked about, like, kilometers and kilometers of nothingness in Russia. Because just all of the time we're taking to walk represents, like, several weeks in game. It's amazing, man. All right, well, Zhmerenka is under our control. It's good to have something under our control. And we'll send this tank unit. I'd rather have him actually, you know, be useful. But right now, the most useful thing he can do is simply survive. So, move him over here. All of their rail yards are already cut off. And see, doing this doesn't really cut them off anymore. So, maybe it's worth it, maybe not. I don't think so. This game modeled captured equipment. Oh, it models captured everything. It really does. When you saw the intermission thing, well, that's exactly what the intermission's for, so I appreciate it. That's what it's for. That's how it's used, as they say. Hell yeah. I like it when people actually, like, you know, return to the stream, but in the meantime, go do their own thing. That's the way to go about it. And again, a very special thanks to Nikki for becoming a channel member, a legionary. We've got 3 different tiers of membership. We've got the Centurion, the Legionary, and the Senator. So I really do appreciate that. As a channel senator, I will allow you to even come up with, you know, future videos, things like that. It's always helpful. Actually, our only channel senator, he's such a humble guy. It's Ken Doggy. I think he rarely shows up for our streams. No offense to him. He does occasionally. But he has just been awesome. He's our current senator. I believe Dave Jiju might also be a senator, if I'm not mistaken. We need to get you a new avatar, Dave. Definitely need to get you a new avatar. All right, let's push east. Keep on pushing east. Let's get rid of these stragglers. We'll use the Viking SS to go in for the attack. They'll take no prisoners. 12,384. Now, there was 12,874 in that unit, so if you guys can guess what they did with them. So look at that. Next Soviet line. I told you guys before, this is what the Soviets love to do. They just keep falling back. They keep falling back, to the point where we cannot keep on sending supplies to every single one of our units. And I'm guessing that's exactly what they're going for here. And there's Kiev. We are at least right there. I'm going to make sure that we are across the river here. So as you can see, getting all of these units across the river. But I'm tempted to go for this push, although I know for sure that the Soviets are going to have units waiting for us. So I'm just going to wait for now. Kiev will hopefully be the city we next take. Stalin will not be pleased. Jake Parker, welcome to Legionary. Oh, this is epic. You guys are awesome. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, I think it's a year exactly, Dave. Thank you so much. Our next Legionary. Absolutely wonderful. It makes you want to try and get away with playing one of these World War II songs. I don't know. Maybe if we can find like copyright free, we can give it a chance. Thank you so much, Jake. You rock, man. You know what? I think, Dave, what I've realized, I think we need to bring alcohol back. We need to get rid of sobriety. There's no benefit in it, Dave. I decided to drink today, and we've gotten 2 legionaries, for goodness sakes. The Soviet uses rational tactics. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know about that, but I see what you're saying. Although, like, that constant falling back was certainly what Stalin's generals wanted to do, right? By the way, look at this front. This is where we could really make a push. And again, I consider Gomel almost the same as an actual city. But what I'd like to do is get behind them here, because if we could take these enemies captive, the prisoner numbers would be insane. So I'm not even going to go crazy here. I'm just going to try to get behind them. We've actually got an HQ back here. If only this wasn't a swampy mess, we could actually get near that HQ and go for an attack. I'm going to take this tank. This is very risky, but I want to see if we can make it happen. Oh boy, look at that, guys. We got some HQ, or not HQ units, but artillery units to surrender. If we could cut these guys off, I mean, you have no idea, folks. The problem is all the damn swamp in between. All right, 10th Panzer Division, we're sending you on a mission. Nope. Enemy is waiting for us. $671 down. And we'll do the same with this unit here. Beautiful. Just a nice attack, not actually an attempt at encircling the enemy. But we want to keep them on their guard here in the northern... where Army Group North is. Send in the first infantry division. And they did pretty well. 3,885. We'll take a look at the casualties here in a second, folks, for sure. Ruslan Lied. Yeah, we could try. Well, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah, some of these Russian units are quite strong. We'll go for an attack there. Might go for a second attack against that 2-2. $63 lost. I mean, it seems like they've been through hell and back, but really the 269th has only lost about 100 men, probably half of those being wounded. But they've done an amazing job. They've helped us out quite a bit. We're now across the river with these units. We're across the, not quite across the river with the 121st. But let's keep attacking. Sehr gut. All right. 30 enemy guns destroyed as well. Yeah, we're going to keep on pushing. Try to get into those gaps. But you can see those rivers that sort of cut us off from being able to completely encircle some of these motorized units. It's just, you know, it's the territory we're dealing with, man. Russia is a hellhole when it comes to an attacking army. $27. Well, we got lucky. We only lost 15 men, but we didn't even touch the enemy's numbers. The commander portraits just for show. No, the commander portraits are real. Now, do they level up? Unfortunately, I don't think they do. I could be wrong, but they are real commander portraits. They got like every single one of the commanders on each side. Yeah, Robert Roberts. It's a shame that Mike's not in here to react to that. He would have a lot to say about it. Yeah, so regarding what Anthony's saying, like there is a way before you start a game, there's a few options you can take. We could take a look at those here in a second. But essentially, like you can turn on like extreme weather effects. But what I did for this particular campaign was I just kept it completely historically accurate. So trying to sort of relive the historical conditions, basically. See, I think we're doing okay on that Bischoff front, as long as we can keep more of these guys back. 4,082 lost on the Soviet side there. So what I'd like to do is actually get some units in here to cut off the enemy at Bischoff. I don't see it happening, though. So I think the next best thing is to try and hold that location. I don't know. I'm a little confused about this area. This is a tough spot. We might have to take a risk with the tanks and the armored units here. Major risk. 14 tanks lost. Unnecessary. We'll fall back. Again, I told you, this front really concerns me. Now that right there was a major battle. Thank goodness we can pause it. Look at that. 23,000 enemy troops. We took out 80 of their 96 tanks. We took out 11,000 of their units, 193 of their anti-tank guns, with a loss of only 5 tanks. We only had 7 tanks during this entire fight. The reason we won was because of the Totenkopf SS motorized and the just barrage of anti-tank weapons here, as well as the infantry. Man, we crushed them. You don't usually get attacks that are that nice, but that is an amazing attack, and I have to follow up with either an attack on this HQ or an attack on the fort behind the HQ, which could destabilize the Peshov region. I'm going on the fort. Come on, man. And they're sending a mechanized division to assist in that defense. They know how important that thing is. I really do want to attack with the Totenkopf. What do you guys think? Should we attack with Totenkopf here? One thing I am going to do is bring this tank over. Initially, we were going to use this in the north, but I think we temporarily have to bring the 6th Panzer to the Peshov front. Just to hit that damn fort. Here we go. It's not quite enough to cut off supply to that HQ, but this creates very, very interesting possibilities. Wow. To drive towards Leningrad. Okay, well, spiraling. What do we do about these guys? What do we do about the guys at Tallinn? Because ostensibly, if we're going to go towards Leningrad, we need to go northeast. So we could send all these units northeast. I guess the idea, right, is maybe trying to cut off these rail lines to mess with the guys at Tallinn. That's not a bad idea. We could try. We're going to have to divert some units, though. And we had one group. Where are they? We had one of these guys that was moving north. These are all, like, security and engineer units working behind the lines. God bless them. Yeah, there we are. So we're going to move these guys to the north. They're just now getting to Belarus. My goodness. It's going to take a while. Thank goodness I caught that. That HQ is all the way back at Freiburg. And see, this is where I think we have the most promising attack, Army Group Center. Just look at our numbers here. If we can cut these guys off, I mean, it's just going to be massive. Yup, we're going to have to attack with the tanks. Anything we can do to create a pocket. Good old-fashioned infantry battle pretty soon, but first, before we do that, I'm still trying to get behind them, guys. I think you guys can see, if we can cut these guys off right here, this pocket, I think it's going to be at least 100,000 prisoners. At least. But how do we make it happen? We've got rivers on all sides. We've got Soviet units advancing. It's going to take at least one more turn, I believe. But if we can get rid of some of these units, we can make things a lot easier on the rest of our men. Very nice. We had some units surrender. I love it. Why is it, by the way, I have to ask this, why is it that all of the Soviet generals and colonels have the Hitler mustache? Is it like, would Stalin not be annoyed by that? It seems like every single Soviet general we look at has a freaking Hitler mustache. A gigantic pincer movement to Leningrad will suffice. We're going to try, but it's all going to rely on speed, intruder. Drink for the Baltic nations. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are great friends. You're right. Very good. It's a good idea. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not too many units. I know Spiraling and Intruder. I'm going to make Spiraling and Intruder our official Army Group North generals, because they've got a tough situation to deal with here. See, but I kind of get what they're saying. In other words, one approach, as opposed to, let me just click a unit, as opposed to worrying about the attack from the north coming down, what we should do is take whatever units we have here with some maybe additional units and hunt northwest, or northeast rather, and cut them off here at Leningrad. The problem is, I don't think we have enough units right now to make that happen. I think we're going to have to be extremely successful south of Beshov, and then we're going to have to send these guys north, basically. Yeah, pretty much. And it's going to be tough. This is where the enemy has the best hopes at kicking our ass. Oh, right, so as they crushed us, 23 of our tanks out of 200 lost. I'm definitely going to follow up with an infantry attack, because I know we can beat them, but they did a good job there. Efremov. No, we've already attacked here. There we go. Not bad. Has to be done. Nice. Trying to get a route, but I'll take that motorized corps against a mountain corps. This is close to the area where we're trying to get that massive encirclement. Could get an encirclement here too, but it's going to require us to take these tanks behind enemy lines. And we just, for some reason, can't quite get to that rail yard there. But I'm still going all the way behind the enemy lines just to cut off the rail. So you see the rail going through here, guys? They are not going to be getting that. So if we can find a way to cut that group off, we're going to have a lot of prisoners. What they'll probably do, though, is fall back. They can't fall back with the fort, but with all the infantry units, they pretty much can. Man, Kiev is right there. I think we could get 2 grabs by next turn, honestly. Another battalion surrendering. Let's see. I'd love to get to Fastov to basically try to cut them off even more, but let's hold right there. We could use the fuel anyway, and we'll send in the 4th Panzer. And sure enough, they are defending. I wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest. Like, they've got a proper line. They do not want us breaking through. There's some reasoning behind modern-day U.S. military grooming standards, too. The gas mask. Ooh. Evidently, if I go through with this merchant mariner career, there's a few different paths I can take, and one of them is going to the SIU Union School, and that's kind of like a boot camp, and they would shave my head, which I'm fine with. I got no issue with that. I've always had long hair, but I could care less about getting my head shaved. Screw Steiner! A day late and a dollar short, or a Reichsmark short, perhaps. Would gas be much used against German mobility warfare? I'm not sure. People don't realize how much Germans use their pack guns in combat on an offensive scale. That's why I always recommend people check out the book In Deadly Combat. It's one of the best books from the German perspective that I've ever read. And it's following the story of an AT gunner, a pack gunner on the German side. And these fucking guys, man, they went through hell and back. I mean, they were transporting these pack guns non-stop, moving these things, either with the help of a horse or a truck, or with their bare hands. And these guys would get so many kills against Soviet tanks. It was just crazy. It's like, I think without them, I'm not sure the Germans would have accomplished much. I mean, without a doubt, both sides, the Soviets and the Germans, went above and beyond in this war. It must have been grueling, man, for both sides. We are going for a massive deliberate attack here. Oh, yeah. We still got it. 2,465 enemies lost. We will take a look at the casualties pretty soon here, folks. I'm just building up the tension. I mean, we got 2 legionaries this stream. I have to. Are the boundaries for units north, center, and the south? Not sure. I love to see all the damn Agrippa Maxentius emblems in the chat. It's so epic, by the way. Like, now we've got proper, like, Praetorians, Centurions, Legionaries in the chat. It's epic. I don't quite understand your question, Spiraling. We create the boundaries, you know? It's like the book, it's like that book, Blood Meridian. The judge makes a quote. He says, "Whatever doesn't exist with my knowledge exists without my consent." AKA, we make these boundaries. So whatever boundaries the Soviets might think they have, they don't exist. It's only ours. Those are the only ones that matter. Disregard all others. I really want to go for an attack against that security division, but that's not going to happen. Let's keep extending the line again, just trying to make sure there's no counterattack from this area. Although, that's right, that HQ unit is still there. You guys haven't decided if we're going to attack with the Totenkopf division. What do you think, guys? Do we go for an attack? I mean, it's an HQ division. If we get a win there, we could potentially take a Russian general hostage or kill him. And either way, we're going to cause, you know, havoc amongst the enemy. Getting these guys in supply range. Oh, he's not quite in supply range. That's too bad. Nope. None of those guys in supply range. We will attack the motorized division. Nice. Got very lucky there. And let's just keep on going east. Now we'll take a look at our Romanians, and I think that's sort of the final front for this turn, at least. Look at that. A lot of open territory here. This is where we captured a tremendous amount of Soviets. So the guys are just kind of gloating at this point. We need to keep pushing with them, though. They cannot stop. Let's get right up on that Soviet line. Let's hug the line if we have to. Go for IR. For example, if army group moves too far south, you get penalties. Okay, so that's entirely it's entirely based on how close our generals are to our front lines. That's why I'm making sure that our generals are close. It's also has to do, I'm glad you asked that, Spiraling, with how long it takes our engineers to build the German rail. So we might not get to, like, if we move too fast, which, you know, one could make the argument there's nothing wrong with moving too fast, but if we move too fast, we would be out of range of our own rail, and so we might have supply penalties. Putting your finger on the moles of your head so they don't buzz them off. Oh God. Yeah, I hope I don't think I have any, but I mean, I've never shaved my head, so I might. And in reality, the Romanians were not. Oh, how we'd have to do an entirely separate video on it. Which, by the way, guys, something I've wanted to do on the channel for a while here, while I'm waiting to get the Merchant Mariner. Well, while I'm waiting to get enough money to even move back to the States, is I wanted to do some like mini documentaries. And something like that is exactly the kind of thing I would love to do a mini documentary on, like the Romanians on the Eastern Front. Because believe it or not, yes, they failed in many different ways, but there were situations where the Romanians were this saving grace and pretty much, you know, defended the entire damn line. So that's something I do want to get into for sure. All right, let's keep on moving east. And in these situations here, we are going to try and go for the good old-fashioned cutoff. Vinitsa's population fleeing in terror, just like we like it. Just look at that secondary Soviet line. I don't know if it's a Grognard thing, but are you guys also obsessed with that marching sound? I love it. Every time they march, I just imagine them marching through this territory. It's so cool. Oh, we are such nerds. You're great in a documentary. I got sucked into your channel from your speaking style. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate that, man. I hope the years and years of pot and cigarette use haven't affected my voice too poorly. But, you know, I still get paid for voice acting jobs, so I guess it's still working. The Romanians were helpful until they weren't. That's right. There's also something to be said about the Italians. There's a book written on their support during the Eastern Front. And I will say, like, in terms of their own front, the Italian front, the Italians would pretty much surrender at a whim. But in the Eastern Front, they were absolutely amazing, given the supplies they had, of course. Well, again, the one book I would recommend on the Eastern Front, well, number one, from the Soviet perspective, I would say check this book out, which is Ivan's War. And it's just a really great representation of the vengeance the Soviets extracted on the Germans, which, by the way, I'm not going to make a sociological point here. Well, I guess I will. And that is, I mean, when you're treated that terribly, of course, you're going to be vengeful. And from the German perspective, I would recommend everybody take a look at this book, In Deadly Combat. Really good stuff. If you like action and historical action, In Deadly Combat is the way to go. Just like constant death and destruction throughout the book. And it's all real. It's all based on a, well, supposedly based on a true story, right? So again, I could try to take these mechanized units and outrun the enemy, but instead, we're going to just use them to create a line. Why not? Get that HQ closer. And yeah, we'll attack. Only because that's a fort. And as you can see, they all surrendered. We're going to get a bunch of prisoners out of that. But it's only because that's a fort unit that I would attack. And I explained this before. Basically, these fort units that you guys are seeing, and just to clarify, that symbol is a fort. Unless we're talking about forts much closer to Moscow, these forts are staffed by NKVD border guard troops. And in other words, these are not like NKVD special forces or NKVD special agents. It's like here's what they did. Do we have Turkmenistan on this map? We don't. If you go all the way to the east, like all the way to the east, they basically, all past where the black area is, they grab some people from villages over there, and they're like, listen, if you don't stand on the border over here and defend the Soviet Union, we're going to deport your entire family to Siberia. So that's why those border guard units and those fort units fall so easily. However, we've got an entirely different fort here now that we're focusing on our Romanian front, and that is the fort of Odessa. And that is completely different. It's not staffed by just border guard units. It's staffed by, essentially Soviet elite units. So we're not even going to attack yet. We're just going to continue our advance into the oil fields over here. Also, the oil fields of Sevastopol would be extremely helpful to the war effort. So I'm basically ignoring Odessa for now. I'm just continuing forward. We will attack it eventually, but it's not an easy attack, guys. Anything by David Glantz. You gotta drop that in the Discord, my friend. I would love some more. You know what? I need to make a book section in the Discord, as a matter of fact. I think I'm familiar with Panzer Leader. There are a lot of books written on the German side from Panzer Commanders. There, you can find it. That's why I loved In Deadly Combat, because I had no idea there were books written by AT gunners, Like, that was pretty cool. Remezov. These guys aren't looking great. Then again, it's just all of the ground we have to cover is taking a lot of their action points up, so maybe that's normal. That's right, we don't want to forget about these Soviet units. Let's go ahead and take them prisoner, especially tank brigades like this. I hate having Soviet tankers behind our lines. 7,000 taken prisoner there from Zhukov's forces. Unfortunately, we didn't take General Zhukov prisoner himself. I'm not even going for an encirclement there, and they still surrendered. Just almost 16,000 prisoners taken in a split second. Beautiful. It's good to see we also have plenty of armor behind the line here. But I've been very conservative with the armor use in this campaign. In previous campaigns, or I should say previous War in the East campaigns, I've always tried to use the armor to, like, get all the way behind the enemy lines and, like, cut off these rail lines. But now what I'm doing is I'm exclusively using the armor to capture, like, groups like this. And I think this is working better. But we'll take a look at the casualties soon and see if that's actually the case. Because maybe it's not. The guy that designed Shadow Empire just released a new game. Oh, Spiraling. We've got a bunch of videos up on that, man, on my channel. It's called Decisive Campaigns Ardennes Offensive. Yeah, man, they've actually done pretty well on the channel. Let me link one here. That's right, I get to link videos in my own chat. I'll find the one with the most views. So we did Saint Vith as well as Bastogne. We're still actually continuing both fights. So this is our Battle of Bastogne video. I'll link it here for you guys. It's a great game. Unfortunately, it lacks the moral options that you get in Shadow Empire and in Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa. So, it's still a great game, though. 30 seconds, guys. Be right back. Nature calls. All right. Also, to Nikki and let me just take a look here. Sorry, guys. I wanted to link you guys. I want to make sure you guys are also part of our Twitch channel, because what we could do here, especially since all of us are drinking, make sure to add me here. I can jump over to Twitch after this stream, and we can listen to some World War II music, all sorts of fun stuff. So make sure everybody join there. I'll probably play Tropico, and we'll put on some World War II beats. I want to listen to Panzerjägerlied. I want to, oh my goodness, I have so many different ideas on what we can listen to. But anyway, just follow me there. And actually, I believe if you follow me there, there is a little pop-up that's going to occur here on this stream. So we'll know that you guys followed us. There's like a little bit of music that plays, I guess. All right, nonetheless, let's continue. Get to those oil fields. A special thank you to everybody for stopping by the stream and listening to me ramble, listening to my life issues, my journey to becoming hopefully a merchant mariner and delivering chicken tendies to all of you at some point via ship. But while I'm here streaming, I really, really want to thank you. We'll match their defenses. Why not? Afraid of them. You can also tell, despite that being a decent line, in comparison to all the other lines, this southern Romanian line, and we're also... Oh, thank you. Welcome aboard. There are not that many Soviet units on this line. Like, it's a pretty weak line. It's deceptive. I'm not going to, like, do an all-out attack against it. It's just, you know, it's nothing special. Thank you. So, yeah, if any of you guys want to listen to some music here in a bit, make sure to follow me on Twitch, and we'll make sure... I want to do some World War II stuff. Maybe also some Soviet synthwave, Soviet music. We'll do both German and Russian music. But it's more appropriate to say Soviet because, you know, it wasn't just Russians. Let's not forget that. The advance will not end. Why, thank you. And whenever you hear that sound, it means that somebody has decided to follow us on Glorious Twitch. Very nice, very nice. Okay, what are we on this stream? Yeah, we've got a little bit longer here. We're not quite at the 2-hour mark. I really wanted to make this to the 2-hour mark. So what I'd like to try to do is end this turn before the end of the stream. Although there is a lot left to do. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Take the SS just to attack that position there. And see, if there wasn't a river tile here, this would be an easy breakout point. Although even this is looking pretty good. We're so close to Kiev. No, not the HQ. My bad. Right, let's get these generals to Zhytomyr, just to make sure everybody's getting that same supply. Same with this guy here. Again, we're sending those guys to the north. Actually, forgot that guy from last turn. We do have a Discord. Let me give you the Discord link. Yeah, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be plastered enough to do too much on Twitch. We'll put some on for sure. But here is the Discord. Make sure to join us. All right, I think what I'm going to do is save, but before I do, let's take a look here at the total casualties, guys. And this is the current total, it looks like. Let's look at ground losses, sorry. There we go. So total on the German side, 97,770. Total on the Soviet side, 1,139,000. And we have taken 616,000 Soviets prisoner. I'm sure that that number is only going to increase over time. But I will say in this 2 hours, and of course we haven't even finished, guys, just to go to show you how much there is to this game. We have not managed to finish 2 turns in 2 hours. We're almost at the end of a single turn. But that's just how long this game takes. I'm going to save this. We had saved it on the Agrippa file before, so I'm going to save it right there once again. Wait a minute. I want to thank our new legionaries, guys. Thank you so much for joining. It means the world to me. And what we're going to do now is jump over to Twitch, play a few German songs and Soviet songs, some World War II music, just for a bit. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to play it for, but again, I want to thank everybody for stopping by, and we shall jump over there pretty soon. Whatever you guys want to listen to. 10-1 is the ratio you want. Okay. We got to do better then. We've definitely got to do better. Maybe we've been just a little too aggressive with our approach. And that is a possibility. Hold on while I switch things over here on Twitch. But again, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. And again, if you want to just listen to some music, stop by over there. And we shall continue. This will be a YouTube exclusive. I'm referencing specifically. Actually, you know what? I might play something different. I'm referencing specifically War in the East. Yeah, let's just do Tropico. But thank you again, guys. I'll catch you on the next one, and I hope to see you pretty soon here on Twitch. Oh, no, Spiraling. We appreciate it, man. I attacked too far south. Yeah, I did push it pretty far south. All right, we're going to switch over to Twitch here in about a minute. Thank you again, guys, for stopping by. Please don't forget to hit that like button. And if you would do me an extra solid, simply wait for the video to upload and drop a comment. Catch you on the next one.